It all started when my cousin, Greg, sent me a message out of the blue. I hadn't heard from him in months, maybe even a year. Life just kind of went on, and we lost touch. I was 44, settled into a routine that felt comfortable enough. But Greg's message was a little different. Unexpected. He invited me to his house. Now we've always been close, grown up together, but something about the invitation felt off. Not in a bad way, just strange. I sat at my kitchen table, reading the text. "Hey, I know it's been a while. I've been thinking about you, and I wanted to invite you over for dinner. It's been too long, and I miss having you around. Hope you can make it." I didn't know why, but something about it stirred an unease in me. Maybe it was the timing. Was he going through something? Or was it just the way he worded the message that made me feel like there was more beneath the surface? Either way, I agreed. A part of me wanted to see him again, to reconnect. Besides, what could really happen, right? It was just dinner. The day of the visit arrived. I put on something simple but flattering. Nothing too much. I wasn't trying to impress him, but I wanted to feel good. I headed to his place, a quiet suburban house on a tree-lined street. As I pulled into his driveway, I noticed the little things. The garden looked a little overgrown, the lights in the window were dim. It wasn't like the Greg I remembered from years ago. Was he okay? I rang the doorbell, and he opened it with a big grin, his warm, familiar smile. "Hey, come on in." Inside, Greg's house was cozy, but it felt like something was different. The decor was minimal. His usual lively style was gone. He led me to the living room, where he had set up dinner for two. Candles flickered on the table, and soft music played in the background. It was almost too intimate for two cousins. We sat down, and the conversation started light. We reminisced about childhood moments, mutual friends, and family. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling that Greg was holding something back. His eyes would occasionally linger on me, not in a way that felt familial, but more searching, like he was trying to gauge my reaction. After a while, the atmosphere shifted. The initial excitement of catching up faded into a kind of quiet tension. I noticed the way his hand brushed mine as he passed me a dish, lingering just a little too long. I pulled my hand back quickly, feeling a ripple of discomfort run through me. I laughed it off, but something about the whole evening started to feel off-kilter. There were long pauses in the conversation. His eyes kept darting to me, almost like he was waiting for me to say something. Anything. I wasn't sure what it was, but the night seemed to be building to something. "How have you been?" he asked suddenly, his voice quieter, almost hesitant. I glanced up at him, searching his face. His smile seemed forced now, his usual carefree demeanor replaced by something more vulnerable. Something about it struck me deep, and I realized he had been waiting for me to notice. To really see him. But I wasn't sure what that meant just yet. As the evening wore on, I could feel the shift between us becoming undeniable. There was a tension in the air, something unspoken, but palpable. At one point, Greg stood up and walked over to the window, staring out at the darkening night. I could see his reflection in the glass, his shoulders slumped, as if weighed down by something heavy. I stood up and approached him cautiously, unsure of how to navigate the space. "Greg, what's going on? You've been different tonight. What's really happening?" He turned to face me, his expression unreadable for a moment. Then finally, he spoke. "I've been struggling, honestly. I've been living a life that doesn't feel like mine anymore. Things just haven't been the same. But the truth is, I've been thinking about you a lot. About how we used to be close, and I've missed you. I needed to reach out. But I didn't know how." It wasn't what I expected to hear, not at all. But I could see the raw honesty in his eyes, the vulnerability that he had been holding back all evening. And in that moment, something shifted inside me as well. I realized that Greg was not just the cousin I had known, but someone deeply human, struggling with his own battles. I stepped closer, putting a hand on his arm, and I could feel the unspoken understanding pass between us. It wasn't romantic or inappropriate, but it was deeply emotional. An acknowledgement of shared history, pain, and love. "I'm here, Greg," I whispered. "I'm here for you, always." We stood there for what felt like an eternity, the weight of everything we hadn't said before pressing down on us, but also lifting. It was a moment of connection, of mutual respect and understanding. The rest of the night passed quietly, with no more awkwardness. We talked more, laughed more, and allowed ourselves the freedom to just be. When I left his house that night, I felt different. Not just about Greg, but about myself. I had come to this house expecting nothing more than a normal dinner, but I walked away with a renewed sense of emotional connection. And I realized something important. Relationships, no matter how distant or complicated, are built on moments like this, on honest conversations, vulnerability, and growth. As I drove home, I felt lighter, like I had uncovered something precious, not just about Greg, but about the bond we shared. It wasn't always easy, but it was real. And in that rawness, I found clarity. And in that clarity, I found a part of myself that I hadn't known was missing. You